Tolu, is your network good? You seem like you're hanging.
Oh, I don't know, so we don't go live.
No,
Alright.
no,
Tolu,
we've
we've
gone live. We've not
started.
gone live.
Please, can you go on?
We've not started. We've not started.
I saw one countdown now. I saw countdown.
Where it starts?
Taj is
Okay.
here.
Yeah, go on, Tolu.
Okay. Alright, guys, welcome back to the Round Weather podcast. And today we have Dami, Pascal, and Dumont. Now, there's no better place to start off than the shocker we received yesterday. In the night that is about Madueke going to Arsenal for 50 million. Now, we've all had our reservations about this, especially Arsenal fans, for a long time. I know Chelsea fans are delighted. They are very happy that they scammed us once again. So, Dami, what's the feeling? How do you feel when you received the shocking
Good afternoon,
news?
everyone. Yeah, good afternoon, and welcome to what I can only describe as an emergency meeting. Because frankly, what we've witnessed unfold in the last 24 to 48 hours at Arsenal Football Club demands what I call immediate forensic dissection. There's a reason why the here to go was at close to midnight. I don't know what they were trying to hide. Why men slept. Evil was being perpetrated. And I've been supporting Arsenal for close to like over like 2 decades. And so when I'm being passionate about things like this, I don't want to hear other Arsenal fans say things like, we have to trust the process, show we love the club, and show love to the player. Because this is heartbreaking. This Madueke transfer is not just a misstep. It's a symptom, is a flashing red light screaming that this club, despite all the progress we've somehow made, has serious identity crisis. Like, I don't know Arsenal anymore. £52 million for Noni Madueke from Chelsea. The same Chelsea who just 2 years ago bought him for 28.5 million thereabouts, if I'm correct. So in 2 years, a player who has consistently struggled for starts at Chelsea, this same Chelsea that Arsenal was way better than in those past 2 years, his end product has been very faulty, inconsistency. The club even questioned his own training attitude. All of a sudden now, his price tag has almost doubled. Are we a football club at Arsenal, or we are just simply a charity arm for Todd Boehly and his gang and his investment portfolio company? Because I don't know what's going on. I've heard whispers, I've heard, apologies that, it has potential, 52 million pounds. I'm not buying potential. Arteta is in his last lap. I'm not buying potentials. We should be buying like proven quality, game changers, players who will elevate the entire squad once they join the club. We're talking about the club that is supposedly in touching distance from getting the title. I mean, so what's going on? What are we doing? So we can't be going to our rivals like constantly picking their dead woods, a winger that we already know that's not better than the correct wingers that we have. Like, it doesn't just make sense. And let's not gloss over the context, let's not even gloss. This is the same Madueke who, not long ago, I watched a video where he publicly declared that Chelsea is the biggest club in London. As in, that's the same player telling me I should go and sign.
Come on, Dami,
No,
what
so-
did you
so-
expect to say?
No. So I respect the player's loyalty to their club, but when I'm shelling out what I call a king grandson, bringing him to our dressing room, our identity, it just shows it doesn't, it cannot bleed red anymore. So there's nothing good about the Noni Madueke's deal. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So from his talent is not there. He's far off from the price tag. It's not, he loves the club kind of thing. He's eager to join the club because, he's looking at the bigger club in his own eyes or a club he has love from. People used to, how players have stories. There's nothing good. So there's no way, there's no way you look at it.
Yeah. Dami, let me just, come in here. I think I understand your pain as an Arsenal fan, but there are some things we really need to point out here. I mean, quite all right. Noni Madueke is a controversial player. It doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem like his head is in the right place all the time. But I disagree on the talent. I think he has the talent. He has the pace. He has the skill. What is wrong with Madueke is something I'll call maybe youthful exuberance in football terms. He doesn't seem to understand when to raise his game. I mean, if you watch him play, he knows how to, handle the wings, take on players. His final ball is where the fault is. And if you're talking about his price tag, he's English. What do you expect? I think 50 million is the average fee for an English player now. So if you are above average, you should be commanding fees in the region of 60 to 80 million. Is the market forces that will come into play in the player's price. I don't blame him. I mean, somehow I don't know. It's Arteta's choice to want to bring him in. But then again, if you look at it, what are the options for you? If you want to bring in what you're looking for, I'm sure is a backup to Bukayo Saka. Which player in the world would you want to bring in that will compete for a place with Saka, or somehow like to sit on the bench, for most part of games and come in? I mean, is the player in the mode of
I mean,
I think you guys have
damn,
been
hold on.
giving too many excuses. Yeah. Now I'm hearing is a backup for Saka. We don't know that he might be coming because later stages of his career at Chelsea was playing left wing. So let's even park that. Let's not and this isn't an isolated incident, guys. Is it? Let's be pundit for a moment. Truly objective. We spent big in recent windows here. Havertz, almost 70 million for all his supposed effort he gives. I would call him a massive flop at that price. Now we're talking of Madueke. Where is the clear, coherent strategy? We needed a prolific striker, a prolific winger. We needed like a genuine elite winger. Either you're a competition from Saka, or you're coming to display Saka, or you're coming to fight for a shake with Saka, or you are going to the left wing, like an elite winger. Is
I mean,
Noni Madueke that player? His numbers at Chelsea last season were below modest at best. 11 goals in all competition and 5 assists. Considering he played Conference League, where most of the players there were carpenters, plumbers, barbers, guys that were not into full-time professional football. And you're telling me I'm paying 52 million pounds because he's English. I can name you 10 better English players right now
Let me help
for a
you out.
lower price,
Jimon,
with
before you
less
go on,
baggage.
Jimon,
Uh,
ask you something before
These
you
are
go
dreadful.
on.
Very dreadful.
Dammy,
Jimon,
calm down. The
let
fact
me.
is
I want
that
to ask you something,
one,
Jimon,
just like
before you
can you hear me?
continue.
Just like the way Pascal described it. Pascal said, Madueke is on premium. He's an English player. He's English. He plays for the Three Lions. I made this complaint. I said that when I heard that Elanga was going for 55 million, that Madueke can't go anything less than 50 million. That's one. Two, I wouldn't say that Madueke is an elite player. No. Madueke is an average player. That's
Below
for sure.
average at best. Below
But
average at best.
wait. If Dammy, I know how you despise Gabriel Martinelli. If Madueke is to be deployed at the left wing, would you accept it? Would he do some things that you expect Martinelli to do, and he hasn't done that for quite a while? So what do you think? For me, if I were to be Mikel Arteta, I will only stop Saka when I know Saka is out. But I will start Madueke at the left wing. We never can tell. Madueke is an average player, yes. He might blow in Arsenal. That's the fact. But we Chelsea fans, we pray that he flops like a floppy disk. That's the truth. We pray he flops like a floppy disk. But in any way, Arteta saw something in Madueke. So can't you just give Madueke between now, or let me just say from the start of the season till December, to take this stance you are taking now? The player might be.
Have lost the league. Don't you get it? By December, there's no league. There's no Champion League. What are we
No.
What are we saying?
Damn me, what in
We
a
have to win the league.
What in a situation?
Madueke can't
Damn me,
do
what
that
in
for
a
me.
situation by December? Damn me, what in a situation by December? Madueke is your flying star.
He can't be.
What would you say?
There is no footprint to show that. You are telling me Madueke to come and play my left wing. My present backup to Martinelli had 7 assists last season, playing in EPL. Madueke, in 3 years in Chelsea, has only 7 assists. What are you telling me? And I'm not at the striker in 3 years.
Madueke has not stayed 3 years at Chelsea. It's 2.5 years.
Yes, now that's what I'm saying. 2.5 years, 3
2.5 years.
What does that make things better? Is that telling me it's not 3 years? Does that make things better? In 2.5 years or 3 years, 7 assists. Trossard had that in 1 season. So is that the same person that you should come and bench? What are we saying?
I mean,
Madueke's issue is his end product. Madueke's issue
Then why
is
is
his
he
end
going to
product.
attack? He should go and play defense if he has bad end product. And play centre back or play right wing. I hit the transfer very well. You should can't become a Joliti and play central midfield then. Don't tell me about
I think Arteta saw something.
So one thing we have to get straight, Arteta has never been able to identify great attackers. He has been horrible. He was the one that made a bid of 80 million for Modric before Chelsea helped us out and, paid higher. He was the same guy that went to go and take Havertz for close to 70 million. He's the same guy that brought in Gabriel Jesus. I can say that one did a bit. He's the same guy that, come on, man. When it comes to attackers, it's horrible. He's the one that got you Fabio Vieira, that 35 million that we cannot offload now. No, but everybody touching with a stick from a distance. What are we saying?
I mean, I think, where I will leave it is you just being optimistic. He's making a choice, and maybe you just have to respect it and observe for a while.
Once the season starts, there's nothing we can do. We have to back all the players, yeah? The season has not started. This is the time for us to show our disgust. I'll show that we're unhappy. There are some things that we know already that will not work out. When they brought in Havertz, the same thing. We all said it. Why will you go and get Havertz? He might be the Havertz of Arsenal is better than the Havertz of Chelsea, but he's still not good enough. Don't you get
he
it?
was winning
Same
some
thing
games,
in Madueke.
He won some games last season.
What does he want me some games mean? Can he give me 20 PPL goals as my top 9? No. Can he give me 15? I doubt it. What are we saying? When I'm looking for a goal,
when last
chance, can Havertz put the ball behind the net, or when he's trying to put the shoulder?
Dami, when last did you have a striker that provided 20 goals for you?
That's the
after
problem.
Aubameyang,
with nobody. That's the problem. You're just
Aubameyang was the last.
Point.
Ever since then, who else?
There's a problem getting good attackers. The same thing. That man should not be allowed with anything when it comes making a decision in buying attacking players. He's very horrible in getting good attackers. His fault is there. The data is there. He doesn't know how to. If you give Arteta 100 million now, he will get you 2 good keepers and 3 good centre backs. What knows how to do? Once he comes to attacker, like he's just clueless. And we've seen him the kind of purchase he has made and the kind of beats he goes after and kind of players he goes after.
Let me address this idea of a backup player, right? So what's this idea that when you look at Liverpool backup? Now, when you discuss this idea that a player is going to come and sit on the bench and there's going to be this, there's going to be, you look at City when they had Haaland and Alvarez. Alvarez was not exactly Haaland's backup because Alvarez played over 30 games. Alvarez was playing constantly, right? So for a team that is going for the title, we don't need somebody to come and need you to play. Like you, I really want to be looking at Madueke starting games when we have to rotate Champions League. Plus, Arsenal has not been able to land the domestic cup since Arteta's first season. Do we really want this kind of player doing that? Do you think, in all honesty, Jumong, that he's good enough for us to look at him like, yeah?
So the thing about I don't need a Chelsea fan to tell me that the whole Chelsea community were celebrating when they were selling the player. Does that not show you? That is a very horrible. So see, I'll say this again, guys. So don't stress. Let me quickly say something. The optics are dreadful. The fan base is rightfully in an uproar. Petitions were signed. I can't remember the last time that people would sign petitions that I don't want a player. Not to Madueke was freaking trending. Is something wrong up there in Arteta? Is everything okay? Not to Madueke was trending. When does this happen for a supposed top target? And this is not just a few keyboard warriors that are inventing or something. This is a collective unhappiness and annoyance of thousands of people who are passionate, who feel that intelligence has been insulted by this kind of decision making because our intelligence has been highly insulted by this kind of decision making. Are we so desperate for a body that will just throw money at whatever Chelsea are willing to offload? If it was so important, they will not entertain this kind of conversation to the end of the Club World Cup. You know, I've looked into them. You don't feel like we're being played as a club, like we're genuinely being played as fools. It don't make sense. And for example, yeah, we're not a club that has a lot of money to spend. If we're like a City or a PSG where we just throw money at problems, great. Then we'll say, okay, we know more is coming. But I like to hear that, you know, we're tight on budget very soon. And we spent a chunk of our budget on a player that is not good enough. We saw it happen when we got Havertz. We couldn't Havertz, so we couldn't get any other person again. The same thing is happening with this Madueke deal. You're spending 52 million on a player. How do you want to go after Rodrigo after you spend 52 million on the Madueke?
Okay, Dami, can I come in?
Yeah, you can.
Before you come in, I have one more thing to say.
Let's leave the match.
To Mikel Arteta, you owe the fans an explanation, not a platitude, not some vague statement about to trust the process. There's nothing to trust anymore. We need to understand the logic, the justification for spending such an exorbitant sum on a player who has consistently flattered to deceive and comes with question marks written all over his attitude, written all over his final output. His decision in the final thought is very questionable. This guy is a downgrade on the Pepe. He's worse than Martinelli, worse than Trossard, worse than 50 other wingers that I can mention that have come across in my lifetime playing for Arsenal. This is the same guy on the same level of Marquinhos. You should have kept Marquinhos, and we don't have to get under winger. What's the difference between Madueke and Marquinhos? Because Madueke is British. I would have kept Marquinhos. What am I not saying? Give me back Pepe.
Dami.
We couldn't sell Pepe. Pepe gave us double-digit goals in EPL. We couldn't even sell it for £1. Talk less of £50, £2 billion. That's how bad we were.
Dami, times have changed. Times have changed.
Times have changed. When did you sell Havertz? It was not 2 seasons ago you gave us Havertz. When did we sell Pepe? Tell me that.
Okay, Dami, if we are to ask you now to pick a winger from the Premier League that you know that you guys can buy, not exaggerate, a player that that you guys can buy, that's as Arteta would have gone for instead of Madueke, who would you have appointed or would you have?
I won't even break your head too much. I will be very realistic and I will not spend more than £10 million. I will not even call any so-called elite player. Murphy is 1 million times better than Madueke. And
Murphy is 31.
I don't care if it's 31.
Murphy is 31.
He will deliver next season better than Madueke. Do you want to take a bet? It doesn't matter if he's 35.
Murphy just hit last season. That means it was just last season that Murphy hit.
If he hit last season or if 50 seasons ago, I'm telling you, just told me I should name someone right now. He gave 12 assists last season. 12 assists last season. What are we not saying? And I'm not telling you I should go after Murphy. I'm just telling you without even breaking a sweat. I will tell you something that won't cost more than £10 million. If you are telling me, oh, I couldn't find an elite winger or someone at that price, I wouldn't have the right money to get a Rodrigo, I will have just more, but I will go and buy Murphy. Even if it's £10 million, okay, make shit for 1 season. While I go and, save up money and I'll buy Rodrigo, whoever I want to buy next season, or go for Nico Williams 2 seasons later. If that's what you're telling me, nobody will be angry. I'm giving you a player that gave you 12 assists, or you're telling me I'm going after Mbeumo. I won't be angry. I will even buy Harvey Barnes over. Harvey Barnes is way better than Madueke.
Harvey Barnes is a left wing player.
We don't even know where Madueke is coming to play. Madueke plays left, he plays right. We don't know if he's coming to bench Martinelli and Saka and Trossard. Obviously, they are both better than him. We don't know if he's coming as the backup for Saka at 52 million. How much is Mbeumo? Let's start from there. If you want to get serious, how much is Mbeumo? If I can pay 52 million for an opposing player
for Manchester United,
his nothing is bound for Manchester. Did you bid for him and he told you no? Don't tell us he's bound. Was Williams
not for him? He said he wants Manchester United.
Was Williams not in Tottenham Stadium when Chelsea hijacked the deal? It's project. If you have an exciting project, we take it. Don't tell me what we know.
Just like I said, damn it, times have changed. Just like I said,
changed. What do you mean by times have changed? Did you make an approach for the player? You can see what you want to just invest and that Tolboli and his cohort money, they move fast. And now here we go midnight. We don't waste time. When there are serious players that can add, value to our squad, our attackers, you drag it.
I mean, is this window still salvageable for Arsenal, Pascal? What do you think?
Well, talking about the window, I think there's something that is synonymous with the Arsenal transfer strategy. I don't know who actually sits down to design it. First thing is, it takes forever for Arsenal to maybe identify the right targets. Then another dragging starts when they start negotiating with players. I don't know how it happens. They get to follow players for a very long time, discuss with the players, never reach agreements, and just when the season is about to start, when it's at a critical stage, they end up, switching their decision and going for a makeshift, player. I think that's what's been wrong with Arsenal strategy. I mean, look at other clubs in England, even everywhere in the world. Tottenham Hotspur, they pick their targets behind the press, even without the glare of the press and paparazzi, they go for their target, they negotiate, reach agreements, the deal is signed. I didn't even see any rumor of Chelsea agreeing any deal with João Pedro, and voila, it was done. Arsenal has been going after Zubimendi. I don't even know if they've actually still signed him until he dons the jersey of Arsenal and kicks the ball. They've gone for him for maybe 2 years.
They signed him. They've announced him. After
Yeah,
they signed him
okay,
10
yeah.
times before they finally announced
Glory,
him.
yeah, finally, glory to God. But again, even the Noni Madueke signing, he's been dragging for a while. I don't know if it's the threats that they've been getting that made them suspend her. But that's negotiation has been going for, it's been off, going off, coming back on, and maybe finally he has been signed. But I think going forward, Arsenal needs to actually, tweak their strategy in their player pursuits and signing. They must be very decisive. Identify the players on time. Send the right team. I don't know if they actually send the wrong people to hold those discussions with their potential players, and identify the players, send the right team to discuss, reach agreements, bring the players in early, and so the players can integrate in the team. I mean, look at how Liverpool signed Florian Wirtz and Frimpong, Kekes. Just when the season was, closing, they went for these players, and in no time they're in the team. I mean, they integrate fast with the team, and there will be no excuses for when the league proper starts, and maybe they are struggling, or they just need to do better. I think that's all I can say for Arsenal's transfer strategy. Pointing to the right players, doing it on time, and that's it for me.
Still, apparently, we're still in negotiations for Iberichese and Gyökeres. If these two targets come, can we say, looking at the window as a whole, that we are still ready to go? We're still ready to compete and win something this season if those are done.
If the book coming, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That sounds like a very familiar Arsenal question. If we're asking a Chelsea fan about the target that they're going, it's never if. It's maybe when they come in, because you know they're going to come in. If it was a Liverpool, it's never if. When it gets to Arsenal, we know how to build castles in the sky. I'm talking about if. I think I would just give I think the question is more about ambition for me than trying to address that question about if, because there was if Higuain comes, if Benzema comes. There was a time we're tracking Higuain's plane. I don't know how the plane landed in Spain. We've tracked so many ifs, and and I'm not just ready for all that. What I know that I can see in front of me, we were told about building, about challenging, about taking the next step. We bought Zubimendi finally after signing him like 10 times, and we finally bought him. Great midfielder, fantastic. We secured Kepa, right? Great backup. But then this Noni Madueke deal and the present position we are in transfer markets reintroduces all the old anxieties. all the familiar fears that this club, at its very core, lacks the ruthless, cutthroat ambition required to truly conquer the Premier League and compete consistently in the Champions League. That is just what this whole transfer has shown. Because now the players are back in training. By now, they should be seeing new faces. They'll all be disappointed. Instead, they're seeing a new keeper. What's going on?
I mean,
I'm
when they brought
highly
in,
disappointed.
when we brought in Andre Berta, the mandate was he has been brought in to win, right? And I've always had a problem with the amount of power that had in the club. That Beta has changed the dynamics of that, or he has just come in to replace Edu. How much really is his experience changing things? You know, how much really are we moving in that right direction? Now we're ready to go ahead and win at the highest levels.
So, Tolu, did you ask a question there?
Yeah. You telling them.
Okay, so like what the question basically, are you trying to say what are we expecting from Beta?
No, I'm saying, Edu sort of answered Arteta based on Arteta's request, and it's why Arsenal
Edu
fans
was
have
just
had a
a
problem
whole pile of
with
BS,
Andre Beta's Arteta and Edu's dynamics. Do you think Beta has come in to change that? Because when Arsenal brought in Bedu, the mandate was he has come in to win, right? Is Beta still acting as actual Edu's replacement and Arteta's handyman, or really is coming as a proper sporting director and saying, you know what, this is what
Okay,
this is.
okay, I get you. I think one of the things, one of the lies they told us was, one of the lies that they told us was Beta was a great and fantastic negotiator. That's one thing that, where people were screaming, he did this at Atletico, he has done that, with this Madrid case, they pay 15 million for Noni. It shows he's very horrible at negotiating. The best would have expected was a 35 million. Give Chelsea some profits. They are trying to throw out their trash by taking the trash for them. As it looks right now, it seems he's Arteta's handyman. He's just coming to do what Arteta wants him to do. And, he's not really acting like what a sporting director typically should be and be able to, drive things from the front. I can't see that. Every single deal that has closed, they were already working on it before Beta came. Arteta was his Zubimendi, obviously. Arteta is one that drove the Noga deal. Same thing with his countryman, keeper, obviously. This no the Madueke, they said Arteta has been a great admirer. The guy knows how to admire rubbish attackers. So what has Beta done? The only way we should have seen Beta's impact was the Gyökeres deal. And it's dragging longer than, I don't even know what drags as long as this. But as long as Arsenal is involved, this high typically drags. So how has Beta shown he's different from Edu? And trust me, Edu was horrible. And show me how has Beta, it's just same thing. One is 12, one is dozen. I can't see the difference.
I mean, really the problem. Do you think Arsenal doesn't want to spend money? Because every time for the people that defend until this moment after, yes, it's always a situation of, oh, they've not given him enough money. He's not had this, he's not had that, he's not giving him the right tools. Do you really think it's a case of the club is not spending enough money? A case of how are the club deciding to spend the money?
So Arteta has a problem with misplaced priorities. The club wants to spend money. They've shown it. So, for example, let's even assume the club doesn't want to spend the type of money or the Man City's money, which is quite understandable. We don't have this kind of Arab sugar daddies. If I give you 100 million, I tell you total budget is 100 million. As a very smart coach or a smart sporting director, whichever one, you should solve your first priority because I have a limited budget to spend. Let's take a look at last season. We spent roughly, I think, close to like 100 million thereabouts. And we spent half of our budget on a backup left back, Calafiori. Does that make sense? He has brought the same thing again to this season. We spent 100 million as it stands today, over 100 million. And half of that budget went to an unproven player that has 7 assists in close to 3 seasons. I'm not saying. What kind of support does Arteta want again that he's not getting? Just over 2 seasons ago, he spent more than half of his budget on a failed attacking player from Chelsea to replace Xhaka. Havertz eventually came, couldn't succeed in Xhaka's position. He was moved up front. He struggled there also. So when they keep giving you funds, even if it's support not enough, you should be smart enough to ensure you solve your most important position and get the right players for those positions. I think the only attacking player Arteta has ever gotten correctly was getting Odegaard. I'm sure left him will not have bought Odegaard. So he has not done anything that's worthy of praise when it comes attacking wise. He knows how to go and get multiple defenders. He can get you 5 left back. He has kind of signed 7 keepers in the space of how many years that has been here. 7? Who signed 7 keepers when you don't have money, when you're not Chelsea or something?
I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point because we've had amazing targets throughout the season. We've had Gyökeres, Rodrigo, Eze, and there to go ahead and sign Noni. Even if they do sign Gyökeres and Eze, it just leaves that sour taste in the mouth. Like, why? Which I don't understand. But
so signing Eze and Gyökeres, which looks almost impossible, it means Arsenal is going to spend 250 million in this transfer market. I'm going to struggle to see that. And we must get a striker. What I see happening is maybe they go and loan Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest because of the relationship he has with Edu. That is what is likely going to happen. Those guys do not look like who's going to cover 75 million pounds for Gyökeres, because if they wanted to, they should have done it since. If that eventually happens, glory to God. I don't know how it's going to do it, because tell me why you've not sealed up Gyökeres deal till now. Tell me why. Any serious club would have gotten the striker. The first point of call, we knew we lost the league last season because we didn't have someone that could constantly put the ball at the back of the net. You should be waking up and say, my first priority is to solve that first before anything. And I will solve it urgently first. Instead, you're telling me you're buying on the Madueke to come and do what? So it doesn't show a club that is serious about his ambition.
I mean, moving on from Arsenal and speaking about attackers, we apparently are not the only ones that have been recruiting attackers. Yes, and the club who decided to scam us, yes, because the Noni thing is a big scam to me. I've gone ahead to get more attackers, right? They've gone ahead to sign Delap, Joao Pedro, Gittins, So, Jimon, how are you feeling about do you really think these are the guys to take you to the next level?
I'm so much grateful and thankful to Toboli and Egbali, because right from the very days when Jackson came to Chelsea, I was full of excitement. I thought we've gotten somebody that will move up to the next level. 2 years from down, 2 years later, Jackson looks like someone that just came from the academy. He doesn't even know what to do. I keep looking at him and someone will tell me that he's 23 or 24. Anyone that believes that Jackson is 24, well, I am 19. Jackson has been taking us back from day one. Just imagine what he did in the last game. Why would you put a pressure on yourself because a player that came to support you scored 2 goals, and you decide to put the pressure on yourself by trying to score a goal in a tight corner? If you had scored, would have all shut up. You didn't score. I've never seen Palmer, even though I still believe that Palmer overreacted. Up till now, I still believe that Palmer overreacted. But I've never seen Palmer fuse that much. Meaning he has been frustrated from what the guy has been doing. Jackson aside, I just pray and wish that we send him on loan or sell him outrightly. Delap has never been my first choice. He has never. I still see him as an average player. Playing in his switch looks like when we bought Dembaba from Newcastle United. That's a big fish in a small pond. If he comes to the sea, he will definitely succumb to what others are doing. Delap for ice, and secondly, Delap is someone that I know that can muzzle defenders, but he needs to grow up. The second yellow card he got in our last game against Palmeiras, It was unnecessary. It was uncalled for. Why would you do that as a player? Why would a defender try to shake you off? As a striker, try to make that defender commit foul on you, not you trying to. You get frustrated because he was trying to play on you. No, it's wrong. If we come to Joao Pedro, up till today, if you ask me any day, Joao Pedro, I don't see him as a number 9. When I mean a number 9, I mean a number 9 like Victor Osimhen. I mean a number 9 like, even like when I know that it's average, Danny Welbeck, Chris Woods, Erling Haaland. These are pure outright number 9s. Joao Pedro can play up the 3 positions up that front. But in this our last game, I pray that they start Joao Pedro and Delap. Pedro can play from the wing. Delap can play as the point man. PSG, I know the kind of ball they play. Just long that ball. They will get confused. Botafogo did that and they got confused. I've not watched Gittins play. I just watched one of his match. That was Borussia Dortmund. I've forgotten the game that they played 5-1. The last UEFA Champions League at the group stage. He scored 2 goals. That was the only match I watched from the guy. I just pray that the guy proves us wrong. And I know it's an upgrade to what we have already. And I still don't like that idea of us buying players under the age of 21 or so. Why would we be buying players under the age of 21 to be giving them chicken money? No. At least get one experienced player. The only experienced player we have in our team presently is Tosin Aderabioyo.
Oh, wait, had a cut off. Pascal, could you just continue from where you
Yeah,
left off?
I think I understand Jumong's pain, and the signings and Jackson's attitude and delivery so far. I differ a bit, with the Jackson analysis. I think Jackson is a good player, but with all his qualities and everything he has going for him, he's quite not the finished article a team like Chelsea deserved. I mean, up front, his indecision and his rash play, you see it. It was very obvious in the last game. I think, regardless, Palmer in the criticism he gave him, he was clear on goal, and Jackson took the most difficult option, trying to hit the shot, and it was even off target, side netted. That's the typical, frustration that comes with Jackson. And if you see the way Joao Pedro, took his chances, 2 shots on target, precise, he got the goals. That is the kind of striker I think I want. For all it's worth, I think Joao Pedro is an upgrade on Jackson. Jackson needs to leave the club. He doesn't need to go on loan. I think he has done enough to, command a decent fee from big clubs around Europe. I hear AC Milan and a couple of clubs in Italy, maybe England as well, are going for him. I think we can command a good fee for him. He shouldn't be in that team. You see from his gameplay, his head doesn't seem to be in the team anymore. He seems to be frustrated. The criticism is getting to him. I know last season, Mikel spoke a lot about how he needs to, step up and all. It got to him and he started behaving rashly. And you could see it, he's missing the points, not getting the final balls, trying to be selfish. We need to move on from him. A player like Osimhen is unfortunate. I mean, he signed for Galatasaray. I think that was what was missing in that Chelsea team. A ruthless striker, a ruthless centre forward, a centre forward who knows how to score goals, who knows how to bully defenders. He can play from, running, stand in the box, link up play. Victor Osimhen has it, but unfortunately, he's gone the way of Galatasaray. I think going forward, we just need to look for somebody else to, who would be
I
able
mean,
to provide the same. Maybe Gyökeres or whoever it is. we could go for him and bring him
I mean,
quickly.
I don't see Chelsea going for Gyökeres again after signing two strikers at the moment. Now you have, I can't even count as you have. I mean, Estavo, Jackson,
Hey, Jackson
Pedro,
leaves. If Jackson he creates a
Gittins.
space.
No. Please don't
Um,
include Jackson. Jackson is not. We don't see Jackson as Chelsea player. Please,
I mean,
you
okay,
can call Estavo. Yes,
even
Jackson has.
without
We've taken him off our mind.
even without Jackson, right? We always say having options is a headache for managers. How would you line up Pascal? How would you line up these guys? How would you play them with each other to not cause like problem in the dressing room or cause players getting annoyed and all of that?
Well, for me, the first thing, a player who decides to join Chelsea knows what he's up against. I mean, you're coming to a club where there are a myriad of players already in the club, young ones, even some are still on loan, growing up. The moment you decide, I think that's that's how you actually, rate a player's mentality. If you're signing for a club like Chelsea, what you must understand is once you get into the team, if you're given an opportunity, you must hit the ground running immediately. Once you hit the ground running, you're one of the first names on the team sheet. The rest can do whatever they want to do. You know, I think whoever is coming should just be ready. Regardless, I mean, we need quality players. Every team needs quality players, as many as possible. In as much as the players will settle, whoever settles in, fine. Whoever cannot could go on loan or may get sold. For me, I think it's a good competition for as many players to come in. Yeah, so it's fine by me.
Jamal, do you feel Chelsea have addressed actually the issues you have? Like, because I'm looking at your defense and I'm wondering, are those guys really, are they the deal? Like, is there anything you liked for the owners to actually look in to address within the club and not just the attack?
We need to address our goalkeeping position. No, that's the number one. Sanchez needs to leave. That's the number one. Sanchez needs to leave. That's one. Two, if we're moving on our best centre back, which is Wesley Fofana, then we need to get a replacement. He can't be in the hospital and be playing centre back for us. So presently, our two best centre halves are Cowell, Chalobah, or Tosin. We need to get rid of Disasi, and we need a backup as well. Yes, Badiashile has been bad, but I still see him as someone that can move a little. We need to sell Disasi, and we need to change. I'm saying this and I'm pointing it out. I'm being specific. We need to remove Sanchez from our team. Sanchez has cost us 68% of the goals goals conceded. 68% has come from Sanchez. He just needs. Everybody sees that. Even the manager knows, but he has no option. Look at when we went for Mike Maignan. If not for what AC Milan was holding up for the guy, would have gotten Mike Maignan. Sanchez just needs to leave. That's the position I need Chelsea, and we all know that we need to sort out.
I mean, Dami, can we keep accepting from Chelsea as they go on window after window, spending a lot of crossing, they've already crossed the billion mark at this point, building this team. They always like to say, we don't do a project like Arsenal, we're not a project team. But apparently they've been on the project for the last couple of years. Can we keep accepting from them saying, you know what, compete here alone? Can we keep accepting that from Chelsea?
So I think it's not a hidden secret unless you live under a rock, or unless you like sell the seat that Chelsea has fallen back below below their own standards. This is not the Chelsea of before. This is not the Chelsea we've all known. They'll just be lying to themselves if they think they are still one of the powerhouses and the Chelsea we once feared. I can't remember the last time in EPL that Chelsea won Arsenal. I can't remember the last time in EPL Chelsea, got a victory over even Liverpool too. In EPL, I think it's mostly draws they've been trying to get. Arsenal
We just
has
beat Liverpool 3-1 the last, like a month or 2 months ago.
that
We just beat
Liverpool has won
3-1.
the league by then as any
No,
serious match.
That's not my
Okay,
problem.
fair enough.
That's not my problem.
Fair enough. So it's still a football game. So fine. But so everybody knows that they're not close to the standard that they once feared. I remember back then when Arsenal had to play Chelsea, everybody starts shaking. As in, we knew we were in for it. Days of Drogba and his chest. Even if Arsenal were winning 5-0, it will end 6-5. Just so you're not winning that match, or worst case, they will draw the match 5-5. But Chelsea is not that name anybody fears anymore. And they've spent a lot of money, they've invested a lot of money. First things first, Chelsea is suffering from a population crisis. It's a very overpopulated club, and I think they have bigger problems on their hand. Unfortunately, they found a club that is trying to help them reduce the population crisis that they had, and Arsenal has kind of helped them in that, but I think that will be the last help they will get from us. So yes, the project is not going in the right direction, if you ask me, because they've spent, the fans will tell you, if you're being honest with yourselves, that this particular squad can win the Premier League, this particular squad can win the Champions League. So, and after you spend over 2 billion or thereabouts, or close to 2 billion, so what exactly are you doing? The best they were able to do last season was win Conference League, and they were so excited about it. Why were you there in the first place? If you're a big club, you should not be in the Conference League. But they found their way to the Champions League, either by hook or crook. They found a way to get in. We welcome them with open arms back into the league of the big boys, and it's good to see them. But then again, I don't think with the kind of money that have been invested over this short period of time, I don't think the result is matching the investments. Because if you look at a squad that you can't beat your chest to say this squad is good enough to win the Premier League, then it means that's a wasted investment. That's exactly what I have to say about Chelsea. And it's time we start calling them out. The reason why people are not calling them out, they hide behind the fact that the squad is young. I don't understand what that means when you say I have a young squad. PSG has a young squad. They won the Champions League. So, and you've invested heavily in buying success. So tell me why the success is supposedly bought is not now successful. So as it is now, they are presently failing in their projects. That's all I have to say about Chelsea.
So when will
Dami,
you finally be ready?
I understand you quite well, but
Dami, I share your pain.
I feel
I share your pain.
There's no pain. You're just being realistic. And if you cannot handle the truth, there's nothing I can do.
Dami, for all is what we are the Conference League champions.
Yeah, you are the Conference champions. Yes,
we're the Club Cup finals.
What does that mean? Is that a trophy? What do you mean about is finally a trophy now?
When last was Arsenal in a final?
Should we not? Is that an achievement is that an achievement?
That should be 2019.
Do they give trophies? Inter Milan went 2 back-to-back finals or champion. Nobody's clapping for them. Who cares if you're in the final? Do you win the freaking cup? No. You can say you can only beat what's in front of you, but you had horrible teams in front of you. This is your first test in this, and we don't this is not the convention for that. We know how that's going to end. But enjoy it. It's good you're in the final, but just come back and just hope your final does not end like Inter Milan final.
The Club World Cup.
A few weeks ago, Inter Milan they were saying they wish it was Barca that got to the final, so they will not be the one to get that embarrassment. I hope your case will not be like the case of Inter Milan that ended in a 5-0 humiliation, and they wish they were not in the final.
But Dami, you remember that the only trophy you are going, and Arsenal is going to win again this season is the Emirates Cup. You remember
the thing about it is, let's not have misguided conversation. The question was very, very clear from the moderator. The moderator asked me a question that what do we think about the investment Chelsea has made? And I think it's time you stick to the point. What do you think about it? If I give you 2 billion to spend in the space of like 4 years or thereabouts, and the best you're coming back with is a Conference League medal and a 4th place finish, come on, what are we saying? What is that an achievement? Is that what you should be proud of? Is that what Drogba cut himself for? Is that what Lampard died on the cross for? Is that what Ashley Cole betrayed his beloved club for? Is that what this man of blue died for? Is that why Mikel Obi left Man U and came to Chelsea to disgrace himself?
Holy-
Is that what they died for? That's not what they died for.
Dami, I'm
These
not
guys
trying
are
to
looking
go
back
with.
on the blue side of London and wondering what's going on here. Your club is so horrible that Madueke could not stay any longer. Your club is so horrible that
Dami, I
Malik is
share your
taking
pain.
cocaine and taking hard drugs because he cannot stay in an environment like that. Be insane. Players are acting
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Just because this is not the Chelsea
Yeah,
they once
Dami,
knew.
Dami, I feel your pain.
Acting
Dami,
out.
I feel
Dami, I
that.
feel your pain.
So
You don't have to
if
carry
you
your
feel that,
frustration around.
if you think you
I get
have,
you.
if you think you have a different notion about the state of Chelsea, tell me how 2 billion plus is the justification and your present state. Is that how you
So-
spend 2 billion in modern days?
So
Let's say
Dami,
the truth.
I'm not trying to hold brief for the new owners and the board, but I think they have a strategy that is kind of maybe working for them, bringing in young players on long-term contracts, not expensive. They have sell-on value, and in the process, the team could clinch 1 or 2 trophies, and you could see it. I mean, for whatever you think, I'm sure if Arsenal had won the Conference League, you and your cohorts will still brag about.
We will not be there in
Hold
the
on,
first. You need to
hold
understand.
on.
You could see the disappointment on the faces
Arsenal
of your
fans
players
will
while
have
they were in
bragged
the
about
Conference
it.
League. They had to justify. Most of the teams you played in the Conference League, you don't know them, Pascal. Jumong, you don't know them. You can't name 3 of the teams you played in the Conference League till you got to the quarterfinals. You don't know them. I heard many of them are bricklayers, they are plumbers, they are part-time footballers. And you came and that's why you were padding up your stats. Come on, for God's sake. What are we not saying? Do you know them? You hear them like Kavaskarke. You hear them like you were going to the innermost part of the Scandinavia of Europe. Places that people have never been to, where they kidnap people for a living there. If your players have gone missing, they won't be on the map. That is where you are going to play your matches, for God's sake. And you're telling me about the come on, man. And you have to keep justifying being there. Why were you there in the first place? I think you're the first big club in England that found themselves in the cup. And you should be ashamed of yourself as a club. After investing close to $2 billion or £2 billion, and you're telling me about Conference League, that is very, very. Please.
Dami, don't
Put
take out
yourself
your
together.
frustrations.
No.
Don't take out your frustrations on Chelsea. I understand
saying
you.
is if you have a different notion to exactly your state it. Don't have to involve Arsenal in this conversation. You hear me talk about Arsenal since we are talking about Chelsea. Tell me how it's justified to spend 2 billion and all you can show for it is a Conference League medal that you should not have participated in the first place. Tell me.
Dami,
Have you finished first?
we have a Conference League medal and counting.
Have you finished first? Have you finished second in the league? Have you finished third? How many times have you been in the Champions League? Where last did you enter a Champions League quarterfinal? Do you even know what the song sound like? Maybe they've changed it to Fuji.
Wow.
No.
Coming from an Arsenal fan. Coming from an Arsenal fan.
Remember the
Coming
question
from an Arsenal fan.
the moderator asked. The moderator asked a
Really?
question that since thought over.
Coming from an Arsenal fan.
Made. What do
Trophy
we
drop masters.
simple question? Answer the question. Where else do you hear that Champions League song as a participant? If I tell you that the song is not being played in Jamaican and Pasto, whatever they call their language, how would you know? Because you've not listened to the song in a long time. You don't know.
Have you ever seen the trophy?
Dami,
Have you touched the trophy ever in your life?
Don't digress, please. Don't digress and stick to the topic and the question the moderator asked. It was not about trophies.
So
that
please,
Arsenal
can
asked.
you just
The
come on?
question
Can we
was
go
the
ahead?
response. Please,
Let's move ahead. Let's
If
move
you have
ahead.
nothing to say, Dumont and Pascal, let's move on to Lou. Because this other
Let's
side of
move on.
Let's move on.
they don't
Thank
understand
you.
they don't understand that the smallest club in London has to speak right now.
Thank you very much, Dami. Thank you very much. We need to move on, really. So,
Yeah, we need to move on.
yeah.
Yeah, we should
And our
speak
time,
about
please.
which what's really going on. Petrovic thing. Is the Monk anything about Petrovic? Someone saying you should speak about Petrovic.
You said what? I didn't get that.
So someone in this conversation is saying you should speak about Petrovic. What's going on with Petrovic?
Okay, is it Joao Pedro or Pedro Neto?
Petrovic.
Petrovic. The goalkeeper, Chelsea's.
I think Petrovic would have been our solution to Sanchez. But I see the board since that Petrovic's development at Strasbourg. I believe the board wants to cash in on him. That's what I believe, because his market just grew. At first, as at last season, they were putting him up for 10 million. No club wanted. No club came for him. Presently, he's on 25 million, and Bournemouth wants to pick him. So I think the club wants to catch it on him because
Is here
if
we
they don't
go.
want to
Here
catch
we
it
go.
on
Here
him,
we go.
you say?
Petrovic is here we go. Here we go.
Of course, because if the club doesn't want to cash in on him, if you check his statistics last season, you can't compare it with Sanchez. Every Chelsea fan has been ranting that Petrovic should be restrained as our number one, but the board still wants to cash in on him. So I don't know what their problem is. That's just my take on Petrovic, Jordan Petrovic.
I mean, moving on to the last club in London, at least the last of the big six. We've had news come out yesterday, or was it today, that there was a deal with Morgan Gibbs-White as Nottingham Forest to take legal actions. Does anyone think that Spurs has done anything wrong in approaching the player and going ahead to guys release clause? But Nottingham are claiming that they approached him illegally. I mean, what do you think?
I think Nottingham are just being salty. This reminds me of Atletico Madrid case with Arsenal and Partey. You know, when he just takes you by surprise. How Arsenal also went about acquiring Partey's signature. Atletico too were very, very unhappy and things like that. And I heard it created some bad blood between both clubs. But in this case, they're saying that, Tottenham approached the player, in some sort of way. But then again, if there's a release clause, there's a release clause. I heard the release clause was not meant to be made public, but I don't know how Tottenham found out. And if they activated it, they've activated it. But if the complaint is they did it the wrong way, does that mean now the player can't move the other way? Are they going to be fined? What are the repercussions for you going to talk to a player directly without informing the club, or the case might be? But then again, so far so good. It seems he might be on his way to Tottenham. He might, unless the penalty for the route they went about in trying to acquire him is you won't be able to buy the player. But if there's an actual release clause, and Tottenham says, yes, I'll get fined for the way I approach the player, but I still want to buy the player, then they might still move on. But if Tottenham is not able to acquire him, it means the whole world now knows he costs 60 million. If that release clause actually exists, then it's likely to go to a bigger club. But now we're hearing they're going to the Europa League. Maybe that might give him a reason to stay. I say, okay, maybe I'm in a bigger competition this time as again playing the Conference League that a club like Chelsea was playing last season. So I'm playing in Europa League now. So maybe I will change my mind and I won't want to leave. But then again, there's a release clause. How it is, they activate it and discuss with the player. If he likes the wages, he moves on. So he's likely to leave, even if he's not going to Spurs. He might just go to another club. But heard City was also making inquiries about him. 60 million is
City made inquiries about him last season and beginning of this year.
And we know 60 million is nothing for City. So,
but I think he will still go through. He will still join Tottenham. I think he will still join Spurs.
So if the penalty, it depends on what the penalty is. Maybe they will be allowed
but
to
I think
player.
But with or without the penalty, I think he will still join Spurs.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's for that.
I mean, I don't think there's any concern between legalities and emotion. If Nottingham feels hard done by, the best they can push for is to say, you know what, maybe Spurs should add a bit of money. Because
it's a release clause, so there's no bit of money.
I don't think, once there's a release clause, once they release the release clause. However, they approach the player, I mean, it's left to them to go and prove it in court that it was illegal. But regardless, nobody can stop a player from moving. It's a free movement. He decides where he wants to go. Just reach an agreement with his club and that's it.
Because, losing Gibbs-White is actually a big thing for Nottingham. And let's not forget Nottingham, what they did last season, almost making top. And it's one of the biggest reasons why Elanga, now they've lost Elanga, about to lose Gibbs. What happened to Nottingham Forest. Again, what they did last season, they did able to compete because once again, we're seeing a club trying to compete with the big guys and now losing all its players.
So I'm not really scared about that for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, in case people are not aware, they've been known to spend. I think it was 3 seasons ago that they bought like 10 players or 12 players when they
A
got
full
Emmanuel
squad, yeah,
Dennis.
of 12
So
players.
they're not new to spending. So don't worry, they have a very rich owner, but they have a horrible Eduna has come to to spoil things for them. He will go and take all his brothers and sisters from
But but
Brazil.
but
Now
but
they've
but
got
me, I think.
Go Jesus from Botafogo. So yeah,
But I
so
think I think
so
I
they'll
think
get
I
their
think
act together.
Nottingham Forest, the thing they did last season, I don't see them doing it again this season. I don't see
Why?
them doing it this season. I
I
don't think.
disagree a bit. I
No, no,
disagree
no, no,
a
no,
bit.
no, no.
If you look
No,
at
they won't.
Nottingham Forest,
I'm just saying mine.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
don't
I
see
get
them
you.
doing it. Reason is that they've lost three of their key players, almost three of their key players. I think they've lost
Elanga,
Mikolenko, Elanga,
yeah.
Mikolenko, possibly Gibbs White, not even possibly Gibbs White, Elanga, Mikolenko. They can't do the same thing they did last season. That's for certain. And if you remember, at the tail end of last season, they started declining. If you
Yeah,
remember,
they had a bit of some injury online or their key.
every team
I
injury is
think
part of the game.
yeah, yeah.
Injuries is part of the game. So that's not an excuse. I remember
And
when that one struck Chelsea, it happened to Arsenal at the same time. So I don't use it as an excuse.
I
So they
agree with
started
you.
declining to the
I agree
extent
with
that
you.
Chelsea went there and beat them. Unlike had it been it was at the beginning of the season, Chelsea won't beat them there.
Yeah, so it's I think it's not I don't think it's possible for any team, almost impossible for any team to, actually be on the same form all through the season from the beginning to the end. You must give credit to that Nottingham Forest team. At some point they lost a few players to injury and they still stood I mean they still stood well, stood their own, stood their grounds, got some very good points, beat City, I mean had beat Manu. They had some very good results. What I think can work for them is, regardless of the players that will leave the team, once they are able to recruit, I mean, who knew Gibbs White, Mikolenko, and all the players that stood out last season? Who are they 2 seasons back? All it needs is just for
No,
them to
Gibbs
get a
White
good.
was quite expensive. We
Yeah,
took
yeah,
from
of course.
Wolves
From
I
somewhat.
mean,
Wolves, they bought
They
Gibbs
got him
yeah,
White
for
from
from
40
Wolves.
Wolves.
million. He
Who,
showed
who
some
are
good
the
signs and whatnot.
who did they compete to get Gibbs White? I mean, it's not one of those marquee signings. What I'm saying is, if they can get it right with whatever signings they bring in, the synergy they had last season, once the coach can actually put that team together, make sure they play as a unit. They played very well as a unit last season. That was what actually worked for them. Get good signing, play as a unit. I think they can, still maintain maybe a top 6 finish next season. That's my opinion.
I mean, going back to Spurs, right? Another player they signed this summer is Kudus. Now, before Kudus came to the Premier League, he had a lot of rave, especially what he had done for Ghana in the World Cup. Arsenal fans wanted him. Everybody wanted Kudus. Everybody was shouting Kudus. He came into the league. He played some lead up, but then a bad season last season. Like, yes, and 50 something, I think it's 55. Kudus going to Spurs. Can Kudus really be that guy to then, together with Son and the rest of them, bring Spurs back? Like, what do you see? What impact really does this signing make for Spurs Football Club?
Man, yeah, for me, a player like Kudus, I don't see any difference is going to make at Spurs. For all, I mean, for all I care, Kudus is probably a player with flashes. Sometimes his end products are questionable. If you see his stats last, I think he had 4 goals and how many assists for a player who was really hyped. A decent fee, maybe more than decent for him. I think he'll just end up being the average winger that he is. I don't see him making such an astronomical impact. I think Tottenham could have probably, gone for more quality wingers. Well, they are still in the market. They're making decent signings. I don't think Kudus will actually, give them that edge. That's my opinion. Really.
So
Um,
I think I have a different opinion. I think Kudus is a very good player. If it was Kudus that Arsenal paid that money from, I don't think I'll be here ranting. He has shown he knows how to do it on the big stage. He doesn't hide in big games. I remember when Arsenal played West Ham, at the Emirates where we lost, he was a thorn in our flesh. Made Skelly to get red card also, where West Ham won the game. If we're surrounded by better players, I think we flourish. It's currently better than whoever is playing that left wing. I think that's where Bernard Johnson and Kulusevski have been struggling. They struggled there last season. Um, he's someone that West Ham didn't have like any out and out fit striker last season. I think they had Falco, that was hardly pronounce his name, and he was barely fit. So now if Solanke steps up, I'm sure he'll be getting good balls now from guys like Kudus. That he knows how to dribble, he knows how to score. He's also a good finisher if you ask me. He knows how to hold the ball, beat his man. Lay a good pass. Very very confident. In his abilities at the same time. Never scared to take on a player. Sometimes he overdoes
I
it.
go against the laying of good pass. He holds on to the ball too much.
Yeah, that was sometimes.
End product is 0.
No, I don't agree. His end product is 0. He knows how to hit the ball. He knows where the post is. If you are looking for someone that has end product is 0, go and watch Sterling or go and watch Madueke. Sterling of today though, and go and watch Madueke. That's where you know what talking about bad end product. But I think I'll take Kudus
with 4 goals.
Doesn't mean Saka had 4 goals last season, it too now. It happens, so it's not Star does not tell the full story. That's one thing you have to understand. There are so many dependencies sometimes. Star does not say the full story. But I'll take him in a heartbeat if I had him in my club. I think he's a good player if you ask me. Fantastic player.
Well, for me, I think he's below Kulusevski in the pecking order. I mean, Kulusevski is way ahead.
No, Kulusevski would always start ahead of him.
Yeah. Well, fine. I think Kulusevski is past his prime. They have a good season. Kulusevski of 2 seasons ago, yes, and the upper season when he came on loan from Juve. Yeah, but Kulusevski was
Juventus. He came from Juventus.
Yeah, that's what I said.
From Juve.
I said Juve. Kulusevski of last season was nothing to write him about. So yeah, I think he will bring his spark to that team. The sports team has been sleeping. Nothing happens in front. They get clueless most times. I'll get to remind you guys about, and he scores good goals. If you hear Kudus has scored, you are likely to see a good goal. A goal you like to watch a second, a third, a fourth time. Remember the goal he scored against Man City last day of the season, 2 seasons ago? He scored good goals.
The acrobatic.
There's one of that goal he scored where in Europa League where he ran from midfield and he beat like 4 players. He's some sort of Ben Arfa in his own style too. Yeah.
Well, we are here for you to, gloss it over our face when it happens. But for me, I think he just has the flashes of a good player. End product, not there.
I mean, it's left to see. Maybe sometimes players need a change of environments to get them going again. I think he got still at West Ham and he didn't really want to be there. I think you could see it in his body language and all of that. But going to Spurs now, hopefully, he can revive Spurs. They could play him, Kulusevski, Son, Matistel. They're cooking up something. So, but Spurs never have anywhere to go, no ambition, no mission. But I guess this season we'll see them once again and see if they can make the top 10 of the club of the table. All right, guys. So there it is. Round Leather Podcast. Thank you guys for being here. It's been an amazing conversation, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, right. I hope by the next time I come on the podcast, we hear Arsenal has miraculously signed Gyökeres.
Thank you.
And Gyökeres signed Eze, like you said.
Daniel, I'll still remind you between now and December, the miracles Madueke will bring to your team.
Why did he bring the miracle to your team if he's the miracle worker? What happened to the miracle when he was at Chelsea?
No. No. Madueke did some wonders in our team, and I believe he's going to step it up in yours.